Hello, this is my first auto video, but I wanted to talk today a little bit about um, my 1998 Toyota 4Runner and some problems it recently had. Um, it stopped starting, and it was kind of a slow process. A couple times I had trouble starting it, and then um, finally just one time I went to start it and it wouldn't start at all. Tried many times. Um, in to rule out some things, I'd had a new starter put in within the previous year, so it wasn't the starter. It was the starter was turning. It just wasn't. Ultimately, it wasn't getting fuel to the engine. Is what we had determined. Thought it was either a clogged fuel filter or a fuel pump. So that's the road we went down. Replaced the fuel filter, replaced the fuel pump, and when we got the new fuel pump in there, it still wouldn't start. And we bench tested the old fuel pump that was in there, and it worked fine. So after my mechanic did a lot of diagnostic work, um, he determined that actually what was wrong was the computer in the car. Again, this is a 1998 Toyota 4Runner. They call it the ECM. I think the engine control monitor or engine control unit, the ECU, and it looks like this. So at that point, um, I uh, realized that I needed to get a new one of these. I called Toyota. They were going to charge about $1,000 for a new one of these. Um, then I called AutoZone, just a local store, national store, I'm not sure. Um, and theirs were going to range from $400 to $500 for a new one of these from them. I called the junkyard, and they had a few of these around the area, and they were going to charge me. They want 125. I think we talked them down to $75 plus tax for one of these used. And I will say it was a different model number. This one here actually says um, the 3D370, and the one that's in my car now is a 3D372. I was a little concerned that I wasn't going to work, but I'd called a couple mechanics and they had said that those 1998 4Runners, they all the 3D370, 371, and 372 are all interchangeable. So I threw in the 372. Immediately the car fired up and is working perfectly as far as I can tell. Uh, One of the other diagnostic things you can do when you're kind of assessing this is when you turn the key to the on position, the check engine light should come on to kind of run through its process and checks, and that is partly to do with this computer. Um, my check engine light was not coming on at all. The reason we thought it was a fuel pump in the first place is that when you listen for the fuel pump, you should turn the key on, and the fuel pump, if you listen by the fuel tank, it should engage and start pumping fuel up to the engine. And it wasn't doing that. That's why we thought it was the fuel pump, but it turns out it was just the fuel pump wasn't getting the signal from the computer to pump fuel. And this serves a number of other processes in your car. For me, it was the fuel pump issue. It could maybe do a number of different things. It regulates your idle speed, regulates your spark plugs and fuel injectors, things like that. So it could cause a number of different problems. I inspected this board, the circuit board, and I couldn't really find anything that looked terrible. There was a little bit of weathering. Um, right down here you can see just a little bit of corrosion, possibly, but I don't know if that's it. Maybe it just went bad. These only go bad for a few reasons. Like Toyota makes very good, parts, and so my mechanic said they wouldn't normally go bad unless it's a leak somewhere or it's getting a voltage drop from the battery to this and causing it to heat up and essentially blow out. So I'm not sure exactly what the problem was, but for $75 I got a new one and it works great. So anyways, if you have any questions you can write me. I hope this helps somebody out there in YouTube land. Um, Goodbye.